Evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the Bluegrass State of Kentucky, into the virtual Kentucky Speedway tonight on live sim racing TV. It's race 10 of 12 on the 2015 United Sim Racing Truck Series schedule, and into tonight just 3 races away from crowning an inaugural Truck Series champion. It has been Jamie Walker's season, though, through to this point, who leads the points in a dominating fashion by over an entire race worth from second on back. However, not currently on the grid for tonight's event. We welcome you topside here in Sparta, Kentucky at the virtual Kentucky Speedway. Myself, Evan Pasoko, and Andy Kessler alongside for the Bluegrass 165 under the lights this evening at a rough and abrasive racetrack that should provide for easily some exciting racing as we've seen on the past 2 Saturday nights here, Andy, on LSRTV. Tonight, I expect no different, looking at a ballpark number of about 30 trucks to start this one.
Yeah, this is definitely an abrasive track. Tires are going to be a factor when pit road opens up, especially under a caution. You're going to see all these guys come down, get tires, fuel. You're going to see guys, different strategies, running on the bottom. It's very bumpy through these corners. The bottom side, definitely a place that's a lot bumpier, but it is the quicker way around this place. But you'll see, Evan, 3 lanes come into effect through the corners. A lot of guys choosing probably to run that middle side. We'll see that here as things go on. But Kentucky typically puts on a good truck race, and these guys have done it the last couple of weeks here live, so we should be in for another good treat.
And we're coming off of a race at Talladega that we mentioned excitement. Well, I don't think we're going to have 4 wide at the end of this one. It could be possible, but I'll tell you what, from Charlotte and now Talladega, only good stuff is what we've seen on Saturday night. If you weren't with us last Saturday, though, let's take a look at our GTR simulators last race results from the Aaron's 220. First off, go and watch that one because you're going to want to see the end of it, Andy. But that was Tommy Ryan who took home the checkered flag over top of Daniel Eberhardt, Ricky Harden, Jody Green, and Alex Monteferranti inside of the top 5. But I'll throw a couple more names into this quick rundown. Jamie Walker 6th, Jason Swan 7th, and Rusty Perrell in the number 8 spot. Those 8 drivers within 0.2 of each other at the start-finish line. That was a spectacular event 1 week ago.
Yeah, we even check out our Facebook page over there. We got a picture of that up there on our timeline. It was just a fantastic finish to a race. I mean, it was anybody's shot, and a couple guys were trying to save fuel, and that just brought everybody into the picture. And off of turn 4 all the way to the stripe. I mean, I could watch the last 2 laps of that race over and over and over. It was just exciting, and could have gone any way. You know, anyone could have came out with that win there, but Tommy Ryan definitely got the job done and was in the right spot at the right time.
So we look towards our updated BNC Lawn and Landscaping Championship standings. 9 races down and 12 to go into tonight as these drivers get set to embark and qualify. There's the points. It's 386 topside for Jamie Walker. 1 win in 9 starts with 8 top 5s and 9 top 10s. The only non-top 5 finish he's had all year was last week at Talladega. 55 points, that puts him over top of Cody Gibson. 68 back to Tommy Ryan in 3rd. Aaron Bennett is 4th, 82 back, and Greg Mall rounding out the top 5, 94 points back off the top spot. We talked about how good everybody else has been. They're getting numbers that can be competitive in most places, but when you're talking about a guy that's at the top of the standings with an average start of a 1.6 and an average finish of a 2.8, there's not a whole lot you can do. However, as we mentioned, and we're taking a look right now, he is now in the field for tonight's race, and he's ready to rock and roll. P5 in practice. So these guys were hoping that Talladega might have been their last chance for that number 17 to have an issue. He actually gains points through that race, and with the strong truck here tonight at Kentucky, he might even be able to mathematically lock this thing up tonight. It would take a couple of guys to have some rough outings, but I think at least by round 11, if there's no major problems for Jamie Walker, he might be able to go to the championship race with this one already in the books because he's been just so consistent.
Yeah, consistency, you know, we talked about 1 win. That's all he's got on the season so far in 9 starts. But it's those impressive stats that you just said, it with his average finish at 2.8. I mean, he starts up front week in and week out, but to start up front, you know, a lot of guys can hot lap it and get a good qualifying effort, but then when it comes to the race, the consistency through the whole entire race, 110 laps here tonight, He just seems to get it done. It doesn't matter where we're at, including last week at Talladega, where anything can happen. He still comes out with a solid finish last week also. So consistency has got Jamie Walker up there, and I expect to see the same from him here tonight.
UnitedSimRacing.com, the place to be for any updates on this series as both the trucks and their Xfinity schedule begin to draw to a close. Tonight's United Sim Racing Truck Series event, though, is presented by BNC Lawn and Landscaping Service, LLC of Frankfort, Delaware, a professional licensed and insured lawn care service providing grass cutting, turf care, bush trimming, mulching, edging, and snow removal services. Email them today for a quote, BC_lawn_and_landscaping at yahoo.com. So we look forward to this Kentucky Speedway. The drivers right now working through their 5-minute single car close qualifier session. Aaron Bennett, your provisional pole sitter, as the times start to go up on the board. Things to look at tonight, though. The Kentucky Speedway, we talk about multiple lines that these guys can run. It's 14 degrees of banking as we take a look at the track facts for this Speedway, Andy. 14 degrees is not a lot when you consider the last intermediate track we were at was Charlotte, almost double that at 24 degrees of banking. These cars are going to be trying to, rather these trucks for that matter, going to be fighting for lateral grip over the bumps. They're going to be sliding up and up the racetrack. It's a very difficult track, and when you got these trucks slided around like that, as you mentioned, tires and conserving those tires going to be at a premium tonight depending on how long the green flag stretches are that we see.
Yeah, and you're going to see, with a flat track like that, with only the 14 degrees of banking through the corners, Evan, you're going to see a lot of guys entering low, but you're going to see them start pushing up the track on corner exit, and that's just a product of the low banking here. You end up using all the racetrack coming up off the corners in order to keep your momentum up going down the straightaways. Down the straightaways, we'll probably see a little bit of drafting come into play with the trucks. We typically do when we come to the 1.5 miles. That could play into effect going into the corners. But a lot of action can happen, and one thing to watch will be some loose race trucks, especially if you're on the bottom side and you got somebody on your outside coming off those corners. It can be a little tricky, especially with the bumps. So that's going to be one thing to watch out also is some loose conditions here on the corner exit.
Chase Crabber, your fastest qualifier at the moment from second in practice. He's at the top of the scoring pile with a 30.620. However, the 85 of Adam Benefield, fastest driver in practice. He's out there for his Q lap right now. Turn number 4 for the number 85 Chevrolet. Is it enough to get the top spot? Time goes to the board. No, it'll be a 6.32. And with that, Chase Cabri, 2/1000th of a second quicker, will beat out Adam Benefield for the pole. We'll go now down trackside for the opening ceremonies and to Jaden Berkey for the singing of our national anthem as we get set to get racing tonight.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
The trucks have been pushed out to the pit lane onto the grid, and we're officially ready to get the Bluegrass 165 underway tonight on LSRTV. With that, let's take a look at the LSRTV starting grid. Pole position, as we mentioned, Chase Cabri with a 36.20. He holds out over Adam Benefield to get that number 1 spot. The 85 Chevy will find himself topside. Aaron Bennett going to get the number 3 spot in qualifying. Outside to him in 4th spot, the number 26 of William Amaker. And then Dominic Dieball's number 69 car rounds out your top 5.
Starting 6th tonight in the Mountain Dew Chevrolet, that's the number 17 points leader, Jamie Walker. 7th tonight in the 31 will be Mike Rominger. Cody Gibson in the number 7 will start 8th. 9th goes to Scott Simley in the 68, and Sal Accardi in the number 20 will start 10th.
Bobby Terrell's iconic Muscle Milk Chevrolet will start from 11th. Steve Gottschalk topside in the Nerf Chevrolet in 12th. Greg Ball back in 13th. Last week's winner, Tommy Ryan in the Northern Tool and Equipment Chevrolet outside in 14th. And 15th to the 88, that's Keith Budd.
Starting 16th tonight in the 79, that's Joel Wood. Steve Ritter will start 17th, and to his outside in the 39, that's Jeff Ryan. He'll start 18th. 19th goes to Ricky Harding, and 20th goes to Chris Baines.
And then to round out your qualifying for tonight, 21st to Joe Dinsmore, Jody Green 22nd, and throughout the rest of the field, Richard Lafferty, Bertel Surface, you have George Hendricks, Eric Wortley, Nick Thames, Alex Monteferranti, Jason Swan, Jeff Gilmore, and Aaron Grosskopf. The number 31 trucks lined up to take it onto the racetrack tonight. We have 110 laps on tap tonight, 165 miles from the drop of the green flag to the drop of the checkered flag, and we're glad to have you with us here tonight live on LSRTV. The American Childhood Cancer Organization pace car going to make that sharp left-hand turn down to the safety of the pit lane, and with that, it'll be Chase Cabry's field at a turn number 4. Looking for the green flag as they all bunch up and we come across to the start finish on the Bluegrass 165 underway. Green flag flies and off we go.
Good start for your pole sitter, Chase Cabry, on that bottom side. The 85 of Benefield going to shoot right up against that wall here, and they go into turn number 1. You'll see the guys on the bottom. You'll start seeing these bumps really start to play into effect. They can go hold it wide open here for a couple laps, Evan. But then once the tires start to wear out, you'll see them bumps really take into effect and start pushing those guys on that bottom side up the racetrack right now. Good battle, though, for second right here off turn 4. That's the 19 of Aaron Bennett. He's inside of Benefield.
And Bennett's number 19 has that bottom lane. You see, he doesn't go to the apron. In front of him, though, the 14 does. Behind him, the 26 of William Amaker does. However, he holds the yellow line. They stay side by side, and Adam Benefield top side, no progressive banking in the corners. A little bit, though, through the trial for the inside, shorter way around. They'll slowly start to slide top side, though, as more rubber gets put down with this dynamic track surface and the iRacing service. They stick right on each other's door for second. And in turn number 4, Benefield with a good run off the final quarter there. Going to get a run to the start finish on, and he will clear him, give the 85 P2.
Oh, caution somewhere on the speedway.
One truck spinning and turn. Oh, door contact after the caution flag is out. The 95 of Joe Dinsmore collected in this accident. Caution flies for Bobby Terrell. It'll be the cause of the first caution flag here tonight. The Muscle Milk 114 machine. Contact with the 20 of Sal Accardi. Those two drivers find each other in the middle of the tri-oval. Accardi with a great save. Unfortunately for that 20 machine, though, Bobby Terrell had to turn the car back to the right to not hit the inside retaining wall. When he did so, again, this is after the caution flag had come out, Andy. There was nowhere for Joe Dinsmore to go. The 95 is involved, and it's a 3-truck accident early, just on lap number 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure as we look at the replay right now. I'm not sure if the 20 thought maybe the 114 was going to drop to the apron. Some guys you'll see on these straightaways, when there's a little bit of room in that grass, they'll drop down to that flat apron there. Not sure if the 20 thought he was going down there or not, but just ran out of racing room right there. Got a little contact, and we got our first caution. Doesn't look like the trucks are too badly banged up. Maybe one of them, that secondary one, Joe Dinsmore, when he came into the mix after, might have the most damage off any of those guys. But first one right there, just probably getting those pre-race jitters out of the way right there. Just wasn't quite clear.
And that's the early slowdown pace we find at the Kentucky Speedway. Just coming across lap 2 to take lap number 3, where we saw that contact in the tri-oval. Joe Dinsmore going to come down to the pit lane to get service. Looks like he's not the only one, though. A lot of trucks coming down to get their cars fixed up all the way through from your race leader, Adam Benefiel. So Benefiel, the first car, jumps down from P2. Chase Capri stays out. We talked about tires being of a premium. I don't know if they're 2-lap of a premium, but Chase Capri stays out, and that's the disadvantage of being the leader, is that if he pits on lap number 2, everybody else stays out, and he's back in 20-something. He stays out, everybody else pits. I'm not feeling all that bad, though, if I'm the 14 machine. We'll see. Again, they only got about 2 laps in of green before the caution flag came out. If these guys are that much better, then we'll know how important tires are. I don't think they're this dire, but it's an interesting move, I'd say, to see early. The 88 car stays out also, so Keith Budd out there. It looks like Chris Baines, the Dushine Chevrolet, is out there. Jody Green, Nick Thames, Eric Wortley, the other drivers that stay out do not come down to the pit lane, and it looks like Bennett will be the first driver off with completed service.
Yeah, that's going to be the only thing that, honestly, a couple of laps, the tires probably will play into effect. I'm not sure that's 2 laps probably is not enough, I guess, to say that it could affect it. But if it does, we'll see here on the restart how these guys in the 4th, 5th spot will happen. But, for Chase Cabri, the benefit for him, though, Evan, is a bunch of guys stayed out behind him, so at least he's got a little bit of a cushion for those guys that do have the fresh tires.
You call it a buffer if you would like. If somebody is to get to him with fresh tires, they're going to have to get through, I think the number was 5 other drivers. So the first 3 rows are all drivers that stayed out, and the guys that stay out along with your race leader do it, and it's a logical thing. It's quite the difference between Cabri and everybody else, because he started on pole. He's still in the front, but you got Keith Butt 15th to 2nd, Chris Baines 20th to 3rd, Jody Green 22nd to 4th, Nick Thames going from 27th to 5th, and an Eric Wortley out of Long Island, New York, the Logitech machine, P6 right now. That's up 20 spots also. So a lot of guys moving forward. The top 6 all on old tires. 7th on back, I believe the first 4 cars off. Bennett, Ryan, Gottschalk, and Amaker on 2. Benefiel 11th on back on 4 tires.
Yeah, listen, if you're going to try staying out, now's the time to do it. Plenty of time to make it up if it doesn't work for you. Also, for some of these guys, maybe a poor qualifying effort, this is their chance to get themselves up in there. If we get a decent 15, 20 lap, 30 lap run right here on on the green flag, and they're able to stay up in that side of the top 10, then it definitely worked for those guys. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
Pace car down, the first caution on the night goes into the books. American Ethanol, green flag, back and away we go, and Cabri already down to the bottom. Across the start, finished on control truck on that one, jumps out to about a 6 truck length advantage to turn number 1. Good news for Keith Butt on the inside of the racetrack. The truck that restarted in 3rd pulls up side by side with the 88 top side, so it's Baines on the bottom, Butt on the outside of the racetrack, and a big run for the Virginia Chevrolet to try to make the move. He gets clear, but more problems behind him. Caution flag is out, and 1 truck up and over. It's a big accident for Dominic Dyball.
Yeah, the 69 right there flipping down the backstretch. We'll have to pull up the replay, see what exactly happened to him, but that was a rough wreck right there. Looks like he got involved with that 93 machine of Eric Wortley also. So Wortley, it seemed like for him it affected him with the tires. He had a poor restart right there, kind of fell back into the clutches of all these other guys, checked up that top side, and then as they came off turn 2, the guys were 3 wide right there with him very slow up on that top side there, and just ran out of some racing room right there. The 22 ended up getting into contact right there, and that caused for the truck to flip over on the backstretch. Looks like about 6 or 7 times it went over, so tough break right there for the Jegs machine.
That was 2 sets of 2x2 just running out of room, because you had the 93, the 22 side by side, and then Dyball was side by side on the bottom with the 97 Richard Lafferty. So those 2 guys swinging wide, and you have the 2 guys top side just kind of running their own lane. They ran out of room, and that's a pretty big accident, as we mentioned, for the number 69 of who goes upside down, Dominic Dyball, and then Eric Wortley as well with some pretty heavy damage. He clips the 18 to Haas Automation Chevrolet of Alex Monteferranti. Some damage on that Chevy. He'll come down to the pit lane for service, but has not collected any additional. trucks. Inside of the opening 10 laps from Kentucky, and 2 caution flags to slow the Bluegrass 165 early on LSRTV. We'll step away for a moment, get you back for the restart in just a few. You're watching LSRTV's coverage of the United Sim Racing Truck Series.
Once its sights are set, nothing can stop the ferocious lion from capturing its prey. Relying on keen senses, lions search patiently before striking with alarming speed. Wait for it. Gotcha, Mr. Piece of Rubbish. He is truly the master of his environment. Do good, be a lion.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska.
The pace car dives down and back underway we go in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Green flag flies at lap number 11, and pole sitter Chase Gabry, the Clean Energy Chevrolet, back down to turns 1 and 2. Led every single lap so far, but 2 early caution flags have had a very slow start to the Bluegrass 165. What a crossover! First, second to the bottom goes Keith Butts, number 88 Chevy, who ducks to the inside after that 82 of Baines just made the move on him, and he takes it right back from him.
Yeah, it takes it right back for him, a little further back. Got some 3 wide action going on, but these 2 guys up front running for that second spot right now. Another crossover move by the 82 of Chris Baines. He's going to now look to the bottom side of Butt as they head into turn number 1. They're side by side right behind him. The 19's right there. Oh, they make contact right there. Pushing up the track is the 88 of Keith Butt. They give that spot to the 82. Now here they come now, the 83 of Nick Thames. He's right there in the middle of all this too. We got a big pack of cars right here for second.
Thames had to check up, but it slowed up that outside lane, and that's about 6 trucks all on top of each other for second on back at the start-finish on. Adam Benefield's number 85 machine started in second. He took 4 tires on the pit lane after the first caution flag. Now back up to P2, passing 3 drivers that last time around. Crossover again, though. The block, he goes back down to the inside. So Chris Baines, who got crossed over by Keith Butt, returns the favor to the 85 of Adam Benefield. Benefield, though, forcefully shuts that door, and now Baines loses the momentum in 3 and 4 to the inside on him. Goes the 19 of Aaron Bennett. That'll be side by side for third, and behind them, side by side for 5th and 7th. The 88 going side by side with the 26 and the 17 with the 83.
Yep. Oh, caution out on the speedway again. Another wreck in the back.
The Looks 7 like, of Cody Gibson is turned around. That's the Whataburger Toyota. A lot of smoke around there. The caution flag is out. That's not where this one starts, though. I don't know if Aaron Grosskopf missed where the brake was and hit the clutch instead, but this starts by the 33 truck. Down the front straightaway we go. The 7 and the 68 side by side. Cody Gibson and Scott Simley. and Aaron Grosskopf tries to go to the bottom, and that move didn't have a chance.
No, it didn't right there. And again, that's just some guys really diving it in there. It looked like he was going in and going to make it 3 wide right there. Not sure exactly what happened there or if he expected him to come down like that. But a lot of guys involved with this. And wow, and just amazing right there. The 93, if we watched enough of this replay as it goes up on your screen right now, just came right through there and just plowed right into Aaron Grosskopf.
Second time Dieball's been flipping tonight.
Yeah, this is unbelievable right here. That was just a amazing wreck right there. And Joe Dinsmore, again, the 95 involved in that one again. So tough break for him here early on.
So a couple of early caution flags here at Kentucky. We talk about how conserving the tires is going to be key. Well, so far, the green flag stretch longer than 4 laps. Lap 15, Chase Cabri down to the pit lane for the first time tonight, and it looks like everybody else agrees with the strategy call. All of your race leaders down to the pit lane for service, with the exception of Alex Monteferranti. They're all down.
Yeah, and it looks like Jamie Walker actually stayed out that time right there. So Jamie Walker, and he doesn't want to be mixed up in any of that action that was going out on the racetrack right there. So your points leader going to stay out this time. Chase Cabri getting his service done to his truck, and looks like he's going to beat everyone off pit road.
That number 1 pit stall as well is going to help you when you try to beat those guys off for the pit lane. At Kentucky, a track that it helps us a lot also because if you're trying to get up to speed, you're going to cross that stripe out of the pit lane as Chase Cabri before you're actually up the full song. So it gives that number 1 pit stall the advantage. Another reason why you want to start from the pole, not just to lead us to the green flag, but to be the closest to that stripe because you don't have to wait for the car to get up to full pace speed to get to that line. You can just give it some gas, kick it sideways, and as long as his nose was in front, as it was in that case, in front of Adam Benefield, you lead it off the pit lane. So Alex Monteferranti stays out. However, the number 18 machine is heavily damaged, scored in second spot right now. He'll come down to the pit lane. We talk about championship leader Jamie Walker being oh so consistent. The Mountain Dew Chevy stays out, picks up a bonus point, comes down to the pit lane, and he'll look like he'll be probably taking 4 tires and then going all the way back to the back of this lead lap group of cars that's still 30 trucks deep on the lead lap at this moment. Walker, you can definitely tell a difference in the way he is approaching this race in comparison to the way he raced at Talladega and Charlotte, at least early, Andy. Points racing, being conservative, trying to stay out of the problems because he knows that a 15th place result tonight, and I'm sure that he'll get a better finish than that if he kicks it up here late, but a 15th place result would be a lot better than racing for 7th early and getting racked out. So he's points racing now, and that's quite the parallel to what we've seen him do all season long because he has been all over the top 5 when we've seen him.
Yeah, he has. We talked about it in the pre-race there, the consistency that Jamie Walker has shown all season long. A lot of guys have had the speed. We've had, obviously, other winners because he's only won 1 race this season. So he's definitely, just the most consistent at everybody on the track, deciding this time to come down pit road. He got his bonus point. He'll come down pit road now and be back behind everything. So we'll see if he can work his way back up through the field. We'll have to see how quickly he can make that happen here as we get ready for another restart.
Restart on tap, the 3rd time tonight. Pace car down and away. Cabri inside of the front row. Control truck once again. American Ethanol. Green flag flies back and away we go. Good restart topside for the 85 of Adam Benefield. Ducks down and he hangs on to that number 2 spot before the 19 of Aaron Bennett, the Blue Moon Chevrolet, can do anything about it. So it's Bennett 3rd, Baines 4th, and Amaker 5th through turn number 2.
Yeah, now look at the run right there that Adam Benefield got right there off of turn number 2. He's all over the back bumper right now of our leader, Chase Cabri, as they head into turn number 3. Benefield, that was probably the best restart we've seen anybody get behind Chase Cabri so far this race here. So it's been able to keep him up on the bumper. We'll see if he can get anything from him and maybe get that top spot right now. The 19, though, of Aaron Bennett, he's been able to single file himself out. He's got that 3rd spot while the 82 of Chris Baines sits 4th off of turn 2.
And the leader trying to pull away the top 5, trying to leave everybody else, and it's good news to do so because P8 on back, where all the excitement is. Tommy Ryan's number 6 Chevrolet, sliding backwards after the move gets put to him by the number 31 machine. Mike Rominger, the freaky fast Jimmy Don Chevrolet, now crosses the start-finish line up in P7. That's back where he started initially on the green flag tonight, but that's up about 3 spots from the restart. To this point, he made the pass, got around the 99, Jody Green in 8th. 9th behind on back, that's where we find Tommy Ryan topside, and the 16 is Steve Ritter on the bottom is trying to challenge. Teammate to Ryan you have as well right behind him. Number 15 to Ricky Harden in the mix. Also Steve Gottschalk there. However, the outside, the place to be, the 16 to Ritter loses 2 spots in half a lap, and now the 91 goes to the bottom. Terrell goes topside with 3 wide.
Yeah, good three-way battle, right? Three wide battle right there with the 16 to Ritter in the middle. That top side middle groove, that's going to be the place that you're going to get your speed off the corners here. Down on the bottom, that's where all the bumps are. That's where all the where the truck can get loose as you start to push up the racetrack. So the 16 able to finally get back in line. He's going to try to make his way around that that number 114 truck. It is a Bobby Terrell. Terrell, though, hanging tough on that outside. They're still side by side there off of turn 4.
They held the 3 wide, and I thought it was going to be the 114 of Bobby Terrell to back out of it because he had the least amount of a nose in that the last time he went through 1 and 2. He kept it up there. It was actually the 91 who lost that 3 wide on the bottom, and now topside for Terrell again works. So as we said earlier, the more rubber that gets put down, the outside of the racetrack, at least not on the yellow line, begins to be the place to be. So as that 16 slides back, you got Gottschalk who challenges to the inside, not going to be able to compete with the 16's run off of 4, and a single file back out at this juncture. So inside of the top 10, everybody minding their P's and Q's for the moment. And how about Adam Benefield, the number 85 Chevrolet, catching back up to Chase Cabri. Started 1-2, and they run 1-2 at the moment. Benefield never really got a shot, though, at that 14 before the caution flag came out and some pitch strategy separated them. He got clear of Aaron Bennett on the restart, and he's closed up to him. The gap between 1-2 on track, just about 1.5 truck lengths at the start-finish line.
Yeah, and those two right now have separated themselves by almost a full second on third place, Aaron Bennett. Bennett can still see him now, but here comes Benefield with a good run off of turn number 2 there. Kind of ducked it down low, kind of almost diamond the corner right there that time. It allows him to get right up on Chase Cabri's bumper here into turn number 3. Still doesn't quite have anything for that 14 machine. 14's just been real strong on corner exit right now, and that's getting the job done for him.
You make the move to the bottom. Do you make the move to the top? We look on the back of the number 14 California Clean Power Chevrolet of Chase Cabri, and Benefield is right there on him. Don't expect to see them rough each other up this early, but Benefield we know would like to get to the front and lead laps because his job here tonight is just to go out there and get the checkered flag and win races. Chase Cabri, however, in a similar situation at this moment, not one of the drivers inside of the top 10 of the championship standings. His objective to go out and win races, so the consistency factor drops back on guys like Bennett, Rominger, Thames, Ryan, and other guys that we see inside of the top 5, top 10 that are running for points. But the top 2, they are all over each other down the back straightaway. Benefield a nose to the inside. Does he go for it in 3? He thinks about it. The 14 slides down and blocks that door.
Yeah, and off of turn 4 right here, a decent run for the 14. It's going to allow him to pull away a little bit, about a half a truck length, make it 1 truck length now as they head back into turn number 1. Benefield just can't quite find that line he needs, that amount of grip he needs to get the run off of the corner here. Through 1 and 2, it looks like that's where, he almost gets up into the wall right there off turn number 2. That's exactly what we talked about with when you're running that bottom line and you're trying to keep that momentum, Evan, is that you end up using that whole racetrack right there. And now Benefield starting to slide up a little bit. Maybe might have made the tires a little bit angry right there, and it looks like it's he's able to stay with them right now with the draft for the time being. But Benefield definitely really, really close. If he didn't touch that wall, it came really close that last time by here.
I saw a little bit of sparks off of the right rear of the number 85 machine, so he's lucky there's no safer barrier down the back, or that extra 2 feet would have meant that 85 machine was in the fence. He just kissed it coming off of the corner. Didn't lose a whole lot of time, if any at all. They were dead even to about 1,000th of a second the last time by the start-finish line, and no damage so it gets away rather okay. Lap traffic in front of your race leaders. Top side for the number 95 of Joe Dinsmore, involved in that earlier accident. He'll slow down, let both of your leaders get clear, and they really don't have to adjust their lines all that much. And now Cabri catches the wall down to turn number 3 on the straightaway, for that matter, as that safer barrier jumped out at him. He was a little bit too high and a little bit too late on that arc.
Yeah, that definitely could sneak up on you like that. I know I've done that in the past myself. Especially, I think the worst one for me is Kansas going into turn number 1. That thing really
don't remind me.
Juts out at you. But right now, so both of them chalked up 1 for each of these guys, scraping the wall right now. But it hasn't affected their speed at all. 1.6 seconds back to third right now. So the top 2 definitely showing the way. They're the fastest trucks on the speedway right now. And the rest of the field, though, single file. It seems like everybody now has calmed down from the beginning of the race. Now we got ourselves a nice long green flag run going on right here. And we talk about green flag runs, and then when you have to come down pit road, the service, that's what we're going to have to watch here, is getting down on the flat pit lane road. That's going to be the tough thing for a lot of these guys, to get slowed down to that pit road speed limit. So as the tires wear out, we're going to start seeing who's got the long run truck under them, who's been saving their tires. We'll have to keep an eye on some of these guys in the bottom half of the top 10.
And with that comes the discussion again. If you're just tuning in for the first time tonight on Saturday nights with LSRTV, these drivers running with a 60% limited fuel cell, so they can't pack those trucks full of 100% of a tank, just 60%, which means that the pit stops come more frequently, and it actually aligns quite well with the race distances that these guys work with. Also, other rules to mention, that there is a EOL penalty assessed for the drivers that cause caution, so you get sent to the back. So far tonight, we have seen Sal Accardi and Aaron Grosskopf be handed out those penalties, and just 1 quick repair, which is why it's interesting to see some guys who got damaged early still out there with a damaged truck, some guys that were in some accidents having those trucks already fixed, Andy. What a possibility is that they were thinking maybe with all of those caution flags that we'd continue to see them throughout the night, and they don't want to get that brand new truck. You get the new truck early, you get damaged again, you're done. Or you suck it up, you're right around mid-pack with the damaged truck, get a late race caution, fix it, then you're competitive at the end. That's always a strategy element that the teams are going to be talking about amongst themselves as well. We talked about the top 2, though, pull it away. They were 1.6 seconds out just, 5 laps ago? Now almost 2.5 seconds. And speaking of that, Chase Cabri half a second in front of Benefield now, starting to put some time on him.
Yeah, he is starting to put some time on him as the tires start to wear off here. As we got a little further back in the field, we got a little bit of contact. We got 1 truck up into the wall. It's a 16 of Steve Ritter. He's going to be able to keep it straight right there. Made a little contact with Scott Simley. Scott Simley in the 68 was on the inside there going through 3 and 4. That was a fair battle right outside the top 10 right there. So a good piece of driving right there for the 16 of Steve Ritter. Able to keep that thing straight, able to keep it going. Losing a couple of spots, but he'll be able to get back up there.
We'll see the replay. These two drivers race each other a lot. They know each other very well, and the 16 puts the pinch on the 68. Doesn't give anywhere for Simley to push up, and once the 68 does so off the corner, they make contact. A little bit of right front damage on Simley. Ritter hangs on, and a great move by a couple of guys, including Richard Lafferty, to dive around that. Nobody goes around. Nobody really gets a big piece of contact. We stay green, and that puts us that much closer to the possibility of seeing green flag pit stops with 25 trucks on the lead lap, and Cabri now really starting to put the numbers to Adam Benefield, almost at 3/4 of a second out in front. However, he's not phasing Mike Rominger, though. The driver right now in 3rd spot on track, the Jimmy John Chevy, with a 31.779 the last time around to Cabri's 7.45. That 3rd place truck was the 2nd fastest on track to your race leader, so he's holding a pretty good pace in the long run.
Yeah, that's one guy we've seen the last, well, not last week at Talladega, but he did the same at Charlotte a couple weeks ago. Seems to always have a decent truck on the long run, so Mike Rominger, definitely the guy that likes to see this thing stay green flag, and like it is right now. And another thing with the green flag pit stops working just around the corner, Evan, is a lot of these guys on a track like this, you'll see a bunch of guys short pit. some guys that maybe in the right at the the 10th, 11th, 12th place spot there come down a couple laps early. And with those fresh tires, you're talking almost a couple seconds of an advantage every lap on these on the leaders. So we might see some guys head down pit road a little bit early. All depends, obviously, how the fuel strategy would play out towards the end. So you want to make sure you're not forcing yourself to make one extra pit stop that nobody else will. But at the same time, to take advantage of that, we've seen some guys make up some significant amount of time, 5, 6, 7 seconds. Even on a race leader by doing that, by coming down just only a couple, 2-3 laps more earlier than the leader does.
And that's always a strategy call that is open, because you'll always see a couple of guys trickle down, but normally when the race leader comes in, you're not sticking out there for much longer. The reason behind that is when you come down to the pit lane again, these guys right now, they're not running what they were at the start of the race. So, you look at Chase Cabri right now, his last lap was a 32 flat. On the restart, a 38, the fastest lap he got after taking the green flag. So you're talking about almost 1.5 to 2 seconds of drop off on a green flag run. That means that those guys that pit earlier are out there with fresh tires, and they're making up 1.5 seconds per lap. Now when the other guys come down to the pit lane, that role will reverse and they'll have a little bit better tires, but it is normally guys a little bit back of the pack that like to do that short pitch strategy and get out there. We talk about guys back. How about P6 on back? Tommy Ryan, the number 6 truck, in that spot right now. Teammate Ricky Harden behind him. Bobby Terrell, P8, and on the inside it was Chris Baines, his number 82 Dushine Chevy. Made a move to the bottom. Nothing came from it. They single file out, but that's 4 trucks, 3 trucks really, if you concern the focus onto the 6 to 15 and the 114 that are all over each other at a 4. You see Steve Ritter come down to the pit lane, so the adrenaline fix Chevrolet involved in that contact earlier on in this race. Couple of laps prior to this, he comes down to the pit lane to get serviced. Cody Gibson as well is in to get that truck repaired. Chase Capri, your race leader, though, this time by the start-finish line, he elects to stay out one more lap. Benefiel, Rominger, Amaker all stay out. So does Aaron Bennett, spinning under the pit lane. Tommy Ryan, the 6 truck, coming down inside of the top 6 running positions. He locked her up, but I think he slowed it down in time.
It looks like he did, but yeah, that was a close call right there. And that's exactly what I talked about just a few minutes ago, Evan, is that coming off the banking onto that flat surface with worn out tires and then trying to get that thing wound up in time so you don't get caught for speeding. That's one thing that'll really hurt you on a green flag pit stop. So he did a good job. I think he got to slow down just enough right there for the 6 truck. He's got his 4 tires of fuel. He's coming back out on the track right now. So we'll have to keep an eye how long the leader, as a lot of guys, it sounds like the leader's going to come in this time by here, so he's not going to waste any time.
Gabry stays out to lap number 44, and he will go to pick up the gas at a turn 4, instead go to the brake pedal. He ducks down off of the banking, a clean entry, maybe a little bit hot in, but he makes it down in time. Concerned with Adam Benefiel, hot into the pits for the driver of the number 85. I've got him clocked at about 70 miles an hour onto the pit lane with a pit lane speed of 50. I would not be surprised if Benefiel's given a speeding penalty. We'll see.
Yeah, we're going to watch them right here as they come down pit road right on your screen right there. In the first and second pit stall right there coming down. The crews go around to the right side, put the tires on. We'll see if Benefiel gets held up here after the left side tires go on to both of these machines. Cabri, his truck's down and away. And sure enough, speeding. He's sitting on pit road. Adam Benefiel, costly mistake here early.
You can get away with speeding a little bit, but I mean 20 miles an hour over at the cone, probably not something that's going to be possible. And for Adam Benefiel, a huge hit, and that is great news. It's going to be 29 seconds in the box, so I'd say, maybe 15 seconds, 10-second penalty that he's given for holding there. That is great news for Chase Cabri, because we talked about how even Cabri was pulled away from Benefiel there to the longer run of that green flag stretch. But outside of those two, it was the 14 truck by almost 3 seconds really by the time they came down to hit the pit lane. So Cabri, the first driver, 1 lap down, makes the move on the 68 of Scott Simley, who has assumed the race lead. He gets back now to the last truck on the lead lap at this moment. So if a caution flag were to come out in the middle of stops, he would not be trapped 1 lap down. Still a lot of names, though, that have to come down and get service. 11 drivers yet to come in. Looks like Jeff Gilmore's getting some service.
Yeah, Jeff Gilmore's going to come down this time, get his service. Looks like Simley's coming down from the top spot also. Jamie Walker, 1 lap down currently. He's coming back down pit road. I'm not sure if he got a speeding penalty on an exit. So Jamie Walker, points leader, now coming back down pit road. That's going to put him down another lap. Right now, current leader Steve Gottschalk, he's going to come down pit road this time by also. So not too many guys holding out for the long haul there to stay out longer than these leaders. They obviously saw how much slower they were off of these tires, so everything should cycle back around. It looks like Keith Butt is the last one out there. Well, maybe a couple more guys. It looks like maybe still out there trying to log some laps, maybe get some laps led. Keith Butt, obviously in the 88, that's what he's doing.
As Jamie Walker comes down and completes that service, he may have had a connection problem that messed up with his first stop, because he comes in, he gets 4 tires and goes. He's not held for any disciplinary action, but as you mentioned, that puts him down now 1 lap P26 after starting in 6th, and after having to come down that second time, 2 laps to the negative for your championship leader, whose season worst finish came 1 week ago, and it was a P6. You mentioned Keith Butt, the race leader. He still needs to come in. Joel Wood is out there, the 79, over the radio, saying that the Goodwrench Motorsports Toyota Tundra going to be in this time through. Jason Swan in 3rd needs to bit. Salicardi's already down, so it looks like Keith Butt, as he comes down to the pit lane, so does Joel Wood. It looks like we're waiting on just Jason Swan to come down. That Steel Horse Racing Chevrolet will assume the race lead in the number 23 truck.
Yep, a lot of guys choosing to get that. He might be trying to stretch us out on fuel, maybe try to make this thing on 1 less stop than our race leaders. Right now, though, he's going to get past. He pulls down to the bottom, lets Adam Benefield take that top side groove, let him get around him this time. Obviously, Benefield already making his stop here on this round of pit stops. He's going to be a lot faster. Jason Swan, though, now down to pit road. That's looks like our last one that was holding out there. He gets his lap led. Now he's going to come down to the service of his crew.
And a nice, easy entry. He doesn't force the issue. He doesn't risk anything. The number 23 down into the stall. And you would imagine that would be a 4-tire stop and fuel on Jason Swan's Chevrolet. So Chase Cabri to turn 1, back to the race lead by 3.3 seconds over top of Cody Gibson. It's a pretty good gap. I mean, he picked up, I think, a second in the exchange of pit stops. We talk about the problems on the pit lane and the penalty for Adam Benefield. A 15-second penalty cost you 15 seconds on the racetrack. That's exactly where he is, 15.4 seconds off in 13th spot.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got a really fast truck. Obviously, was running up there with the leader. I'm sure he can make up a bunch of these spots. He might even be able to get up into the top 10 before the next round of pit stops, but for him to make up that amount of time on Chase Cabri, he's going to need a little bit of help. And when I say help, I mean a caution flag is what Benefield's going to need in order to make up that penalty right there. But it just shows you how costly a penalty is, especially on a green flag pit stop.
And it would be difficult for him to recover from that, I mean, with decent success outside of getting a caution flag. I don't think he'd be able to make any kind of crazy pit strategy against everybody else. We don't know how those numbers line up, though, quite yet, because 2 caution flags early that the drivers took advantage of to come down to the pit lane for total, and then this green flag stretched through to about lap 50, puts these guys still short, needing at least 1 more trip down to the pit lane to make it to the lap 110 marker. So that is still to be decided. How about a fight, though, for P6? Tommy Ron and just behind him, the number 15 of Ricky Harden. Those are 2 team trucks continuing to do battle just outside the top 5. They were this close to each other before the pit stops, and they're still this tight on each other after. So both of them pretty even when they came down to the pit lane and got back up to speed afterwards.
Yeah, obviously both of their crews doing a great job getting their tires on, getting them back out on track in the same spot they were battling in, also 6 and 7 spot right now. So their crew's doing everything they had to do on the pit lane to get the job done down there. Now it's up to the drivers to try to make up some time. About a second separate them from that top 5 spot of William Amaker in that 26 truck. So they got a little bit of work left to get done right here. Looks like they lost a little bit of ground right there to that 5th spot. So Tommy Ryan hanging tough right there. Pretty good battle with his teammate, though, in that 15 truck right behind him.
And Chase Cabri has 55 laps in the books. He'll put 56 down this time by. And with that, we're past the halfway point. And with that, let's take a look at our iRacing.com midway race break. For more information on the wide variety of racing possibilities on the web, visit iRacing.com and sign up today. Chase Cabri, your leader in the Bluegrass 165 at lap number 57. The number 14 Chevrolet has led through the way, with the exceptions of a couple of green flag pit stops. He has led every single lap of green flag racing. Cody Gibson behind him by 4.4 seconds for the number 7 Whataburger Toyota back there in P2. 6 spots to the positive from the start of this one. It's the Jimmy John Chevrolet, not all that far off of a Mike Rominger, scored in 3rd right now. Aaron Bennett in 4th, under attack by William Amaker, the 19 and the 26. 4-5 at the moment on track, doing very good, about 7.3 seconds off of the race lead. Tommy Ryan is back in 6th spot. The Northern Tool and Equipment Chevrolet just in front of Ricky Hardin's Michelin Chevy in 7th. Those guys 10 seconds away. Scott Simley's number 68 Snap-on Toyota is 8th. Bobby Terrell's Muscle Milk Chevy is 9th. And Chris Baines in the Dooshine entry back in P10, 13.6 seconds off of the fastest truck.
That 16 machinist Steve Ritter right now running 11th. 12th is the 85 of Adam Benefiel, so he's made up a couple spots after that mistake on pit road. Keith Button, the 88, who's running up front early. He sits 13th right now. 14th is that Nerf machine of the 91 of Scott Gottschalk, or Steve Gottschalk. Jeff Gilmore in the 57 runs 15th. 16th is the 22 of Greg Mall. Sal Accordi in the 20 runs 17th. 18th right now on the track is the 99 of Jody Green, and the 33 of Eric Grotzkoff runs 19th, while Jason Swan rounds out the top 20.
Joe Wood is 21st in the Woodwrench Toyota. Behind him is Richard Lafferty, the number 97 Chevy, 22nd. And then last driver on the lead lap is Jeff Rhines, number 39 Chevy. And with this across the start-finish line, he'll fall 1 lap to the negative as your race leader puts the move on him. 3 of the trucks that are 1 lap down, and 26th, or rather 24th for that matter, the 34 of George Hendricks. Jamie Walker is 25th, 1 lap down, and Nick Thames is 1 lap down in 26th position. Joe Dinsmore 12 laps off in 27th. The same story for Alex Monteferranti over the Haas Automation Chevy onto the pit lane. His night may be done. And then tough breaks for Bertil Surface, Dominique Dieball, and Eric Wortley, 29th, 30th, and 31st, that are all out of this race at this juncture. It is all Chase Cabri through your iRacing.com midway race break, brought to you by iRacing.com, the leader in motorsport simulations and the official sim racing partner of NASCAR. It is Cabri's race, 5.7 seconds, and by the way, it's growing every single time. He's about a 10th faster than the next closest truck in the field. He's enjoying the clean air in that Clean Energy Chevy, I will say, but that is a very fast truck, and he has not really had any hiccups so far tonight.
Nope, just had the one when he was racing Adam Benefiel for the lead there. Just the wall off of turn number 4. That was his only one little hiccup right now. No pressure from behind, so it's all on him. This is the point of the race when, especially when you're up front as a leader, you don't really have anybody to judge yourself by. You know, usually when you're chasing down a driver, you can kind of see if you're making up ground or if you're losing ground. But for him, the only way he can do it is by the stopwatch. And like you said, every lap that goes by, about a 10th quicker than the rest of the field. So Chase Cabri getting it done. Definitely the stealing the show away from everybody here tonight at Kentucky, and no problem so far for that 14.
And in front of him, there's no immediate threat, except that he's got some lap trucks coming. We'll see how he navigates around Aaron Grosskopf, Richard Lafferty, in as well. One more driver there, Joel Wood. So 3 trucks kind of close to each other. They are fighting for position. It's an age-old question of what do you do as a lap machine, Andy? There's nothing that says that those guys need to move over for them. I know in actual NASCAR competition, they'll be given the blue flag and they're told to get out of the way. However, in iRacing, according to the first sporting code, it is the passing driver's responsibility to execute a clean pass. Basically, Chase Cabri, it is his problem to find a way through and not those guys. Now, for the most part, those guys will get out of the way, but you're looking at 3 drivers. You look at these guys right now, the 33 top side, it's Lafferty to the bottom and Joel Wood just behind. Not only are they fighting to not get lapped, but this is 3 spots for points as well.
Yeah, and just keep in mind also, as they're going to go 3 wide now down the back straightaway here. A bold move by the 79 at Joel Wood. He's going to go to the inside, but he does the wise thing and actually backs out of it right there. That's going to allow these guys to separate. Now they're going to come back into it here. Look at Chase Cabri now, right through the middle. He's going to make it 3 wide, now almost 4 wide there. So Chase Cabri, he's not wasting any time. He doesn't care. Get out of his way is what he's saying right now, as everybody now moves topside and lets that 14 truck go by on the bottom. Now, but you got to keep in mind those 3 trucks we were just talking about, they're going to be the ones battling for that lucky dog spot. So the battle for those guys will still continue here.
Yeah, they're not going to make it easy. They gave the 14 the bottom, but again, that's not the preferred lane on track. So Joel Wood wins because he challenges back topside and he passes those 2 guys he's racing with. The 97 of Lafferty, the 33 of Grosskopf lose 1 lap. The 79 will be next. He's not going to be able to hold off your race leader. But this is the difference when we talk about a guy like Chase Cabri, a guy like Adam Benefiel, coming into these races, Andy, with nothing to lose. Their objective is to win. If they don't win, they wasted 2 hours because the points don't mean anything for them because they're not in the points championship. That's why you're seeing him dive right into what was a 3-wide battle with lap trucks. If that was the same scenario, but replace him with a guy like a Jamie Walker, a Cody Gibson, or a Tommy Ron, they're not doing that because they need the points. And the only thing that Chase Cabri wants is a win, so he's willing to take that risk. And if he does so, and he makes the pass on these guys, then he gains time on Mike Rominger and company from second on back, as opposed to if he took it easy, would have given those guys an opportunity to close on him.
Yeah, and I'm watching our leader right now. He's actually struggling right now a little bit with maybe being in that dirty air around these trucks right now. Cabri just not able to get back up to that 79 of Joel Wood right now. Kind of find that interesting how fast he's been running over the field. You can see his lap times have definitely suffered with that. I don't know if running that bottom lane there a couple times trying to get around him really upset his tires. That's my guess right there, Evan, is that he wore out his tires a little bit there going on that bottom side. But right now just doesn't even seem like he has anything for that 79 truck right now. And for Joel Wood, that's a good thing.
Yeah, there was, I don't know who it was exactly, but there was somebody in NASCAR was talking about one time they were trying to work around some lap cars, and he said if he drove this fast the whole time, he wouldn't be getting lapped. So Joel Wood maybe waking up here a little bit late, kind of the same scenario there. That 79 machine, the Road Ranch Toyota Tundra, we know that he's pretty good. He's got a lot of seat time in these trucks. Used to see him a lot Sunday nights on LSRTV, back with the Chorus Sunday Money series back in 2014, earlier on when that series was active, and now here tonight. So he knows what he's doing. But, sometimes maybe it takes a little bit of pressure, or you're even learning something, Andy. I mean, for a guy that started in 16th, running right now in 19th position for Wood, you're not running around the fastest trucks there. Maybe if you see the race leader, you pick something up from him. And, I like the point that you made as well, that the 14 probably used up the tires a little bit, trying to force the issue. But Joe Wood, I definitely feel that he's picked up the pace from what he was doing, at least in that first stint.
Yeah, most definitely. But you know what that is that he gave the bottom side thinking, all right, here, take the bottom, go around me. And then I think he realized, wait a minute, this top side's actually pretty fast. So he might have learned something right there as far as which line is actually a better line right there, because he noticed that the leader couldn't get around him on that bottom side. So Joel Wood obviously doing something right now. And like you said, he figured something out. Now he's running faster, or just as fast as the leader right now. So the problem with that is, though, when you're a guy like Joel Wood in the position you're running in currently, is you're like, man, if only I started up closer to the front, I'd be right up there with the leader. So, or at least you got to be pretty happy. You got a truck that is at least equivalent to the leader's truck. Just right now, your track position is what's killing you.
And we talked about Chase Cabri enjoying the clean air. Well, he no longer has that either when you have Joel Wood in front of you. So we talk about a guy like Cabri who's pulling away from everybody else. At this point, if you're Cody Gibson in second position, it's still clean air at that point. But, you know, you talk about guys that are lined up pretty close to each other. Dirty air, not as fun to drive in as opposed to being out in front. So you'll see guys like Cabri lead these races, Andy. They'll get stuck in a sort of pit cycle. They'll find themselves mid-pack, and those trucks just don't go because they're not used to having to fight against the air. Not the case, really, with Cabri because he has slowed down to that lap truck that he's battling with. In fact, Wood is pulling away and actually putting up a pretty good defense to stay on the lead lap. But through all of this, Cabri is still pulling away from Cody Gibson and company.
Yeah, he is, and pit road has started to become a busy place. The 31 of Mike Rominger, one of the first of the leaders to come down pit road now, so we'll see how long Chase Cabri stays out there. I wouldn't stay out too long, though. He was had about a 5-second lead over Rominger, so we'll see how things shape out here. This will definitely give us an idea of how much the tires will play into effect here. As all these guys are going to start coming down pit road and getting their thing. Another guy to keep an eye on is the 85 of Adam Benefield. He did make his way up into that top 10 before. Right now currently running 6th, but that's only because a couple of them front runners like Rominger have come down pit road. So he did make it up into the top 10. However, he's still 15 seconds back. That's exactly where he was when these pit stops started. Here he comes now, though. Adam Benefield, he's going to come down pit road now, too. So he's going to come down before our leader, Chase Cabri. Cabri's still on the track.
Yeah, a lot of the leaders in. Scott Sinley, Aaron Bennett. You got Adam Benefield down. Bartow Surface as well from a little bit further back in the pack. The 6 of Tommy Ryan. So Alex Monteferranti. A lot of trucks down to the pit lane. Chase Cabri electing to stay out. Now we have to talk about fuel and how far you're going to make it to the end of this. And I'll have to take another look at the numbers to see where everybody is. But Chase Cabri right now, he's working lap number 78 in this race. But again, pit stops weren't all that long ago with the 60% fuel cell in these trucks. The last time that Chase Cabri was down to the pit lane for service was on lap number 45. So that's just over about 33 laps, and Chase Cabri going to bring it down to the pit lane. He's got 32 laps to the end, so I think the 14 stays out those extra 2 laps, Andy, to make sure that he would be good on fuel. If he can get the same mileage, he should make it to 110.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he was doing right there. That's why he stayed out a little bit longer. I got to think, though, guys like Mike Rominger, a veteran to iRacing, I've seen him in many leagues. You got to think that he felt that he could make it from the end from when he came down the pit road. So Mike Rominger just trying to do something, anything to gain up some of that 5 seconds he was in the hole to our leader Chase Cabri. But now Cabri will be off of pit road, 4 tires. He's down and away. A good stop for that crew. They've been on it all night long, and so has their driver.
And that 14 machine's got to get it back up to speed. He rides the apron through the corner. He'll get her back up to full song, and off he goes. Keith Butt takes over the race lead in the Virginia's Club machine now. So the number 88 machine in the race lead. It was a 15.13 for Chase Cabri as he came down to the pit lane. So he gets back out there. A little bit better stop for some of the other guys that aim like an Adam Benefield with a 14-second stop, which is about the average, I would say, on the sim. When your gap is 8 seconds, I don't think a tenth of a second is going to kill you on the pit lane. So we look for the drivers that need a pit. Salicardi is in. We're waiting on Richard Lafferty in 5th, Joel Wood in 4th, Greg Mall in 3rd, Jason Swan in 2nd, and Keith Butt in 1st to come down to the pit lane, and then Cabri would go back to the top spot as the number 14 at this juncture is P6.
Yeah, he is right now. It looks like Greg Mall coming down pit road in that 22 machine this time by. You can see our race leader in the 88 of Keith Butt, just everybody going around him pretty easily right now as they run, obviously, with those fresh tires. The 88, though, he was one of those guys that stayed out longer on that last run also, so he's just continuing to do what he's done all race long. The 79, he's coming down pit road right now as we speak, so all the guys, the lone... Well, a couple guys left. The 23 and the 88 still have to go. Jason Swan. I think Jason was the one that stayed out the longest out of everybody. So he definitely has more fuel in the tank than the rest of them. right now. So Keith Butt still leading the way here. He decides to stay out again this time by.
And Butt going to be coming down this time, he announces, so he'll pit at lap number 83. That leaves him with just about 27 laps to make it on fuel. That really should not be much of a problem. Again, Jason Swan's good. He'll have a plenty of fuel, unless you come down to the pit lane and get less fuel to try to shorten up your pit stop time, though. You're out there with older tires and you're losing time. So I think the way that Chase Cabri coordinated all of this with the 14 machine, going 33 laps coming down pit road, and then they need to make it an additional 32 laps. It's a very good way to split that run in half. And even if you have a little bit of variance on fuel, Andy, like a guy like a Swan might have as he stays out to take the race lead as Keith Butt hits the pit lane, even if you might be able to go 40 laps, split it in 2 stints of 30. That way the truck feels exactly the same over the course of that run as it did just before, all the way through to the end. So you know what the truck's going to do. Don't change up anything from what you've done all night long if it's worked as efficiently as it has tonight.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Why change it up? Why make it anything different, or allow yourself to not be familiar? Because as the fuel goes out of these trucks, it definitely changes the handling characteristics of them also. So that can come play into effect too. Splitting it in half, though, that's definitely a good idea. Kind of looking at these times, the way things are running right now, and it looks like Chase Cabri will still obviously get the lead, but his 6-second lead or so, what it was, is down now. Looks like it'll be around 3 seconds. So Cody Gibson in that second spot there. He will be in the second spot. He's running third on the track right now. Rominger, I'm real surprised how early he came down pit road, that he's still some 6 seconds back from Chase Cabri. So something else must have happened there. Either his pit entry or his pit exit was awfully slow, but Rominger lost a bunch of time right there.
And that's almost a little bit of a strategy move by that number 31 Jimmy John's machine, because he comes in at lap number 74. That's 36 laps on fuel when you're talking about working with the 60% fuel so that they have. That sounds like a realistic number, but that would be one of the longer stints we saw tonight. We talked about the short pit strategy, though. Somebody had to play it. The Jimmy John's machine felt like he deserved a little bit more. I don't think it really worked out all that well in the end. Start-finish line, though, as Swan falls after he comes down to the pit lane. Rottinger going to be scored in 4th position, so that's up from 7th. So, either way you look at it, it is a positive in the end. He's not all that far away from William Amaker, the AC Delco Chevrolet. Scored in 3rd right now. That number 26 machine, who started in P4, has been very quiet as this night has progressed on through. He had a couple of problems there not all that long ago when it came to trying to come down to the pit lane and get serviced.
Yeah, he has been quiet, Evan. We haven't talked much about him. Been hovering in that top 10 area all night, but now finds himself in that 3rd and the final podium spot here currently. But he got Mike Rominger, though, on his back bumper. We know Rominger always has a decent truck when it comes to the long run, so we'll see if he'll be able to catch him the next few laps or so. Chase Cabri, though, a whole mile an hour faster than everybody on the track, continues to steal the show. The class in the field here tonight is definitely that 14.
The gap to Cody Gibson is 3.8 seconds to the number 7, the Whataburger number 7 Toyota. It is Whataburger, and I know that it's completely irrelevant, but I know that people in Texas call it Waterburger. I don't know why. That's just what a friend of mine that is from Texas calls it. But anyways, Cody Gibson is 3.8 seconds back, Andy. Interesting, because we've been talking about how Chase Cabri's gap all night long has been 6 and 8 seconds, really, when we came up and approached this final cycle of pit stops. A little bit of a short pit from Gibson, who was running in 2nd at the time, and he actually ended up quite with a positive gain through that net gain, I guess, of pit stops. However, as we mentioned, Chase Cabri still the fastest truck out there. He's about at least a mile an hour quicker per lap. That doesn't sound like a lot when you're talking about 177 miles an hour. What's one extra one? Well, that's equaling out to about a 10th a lap.
Yep, and that's all you need when you're racing. You need half a 10th a lap, technically. As long as you're faster than that guy behind you, then you got everything going in the right direction. And Chase Cabri, that's all he needs. And right now it's talk about the rhythm factor and guys getting into a rhythm, and that's exactly what this is. You get so used to listening to that engine in the cockpit just when you let off to when you get back on, and it's almost like, to these guys, it's music, and they get so used to it, and that definitely puts them in a rhythm. And obviously with all the cautions we had at the beginning, it's hard to get into a rhythm. But once we've got the green flag going, we've had a couple green flag pit stops, Chase Cabri just hasn't had to look backwards.
And inside now of 20 laps to go at Kentucky, we'll step away with the LSRTV 20 to go nonstop for a brief moment, and back to Sparta for the race through to the checkered flag. Trying to go green since the opening quarter of this race, it's all Chase Cabri from Kentucky. Yeah. And
in the outside contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be into stripe? Dead even. Give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Back live from the Kentucky Speedway, and as you were taking a look, caution flag is now out, just shy of 10 laps to go, and the restart will be with inside of 10 laps to go here from Kentucky. Contact with Joel Woods, number 79, and the 20 of Sal Accardi. These are two teammates, Andy, through the tri-oval. 20 goes low, and Accardi, when he comes up the hill, Joel Wood doesn't swing as wide as he thought and takes him out.
Yeah, right there. That's a tough break right there. A big wreck. Could have been a lot worse right there, but just Joel Wood taking the spin right by himself there. Pit road open. A lot of our leaders. Looks like everybody coming down pit road. Nobody staying out, so tires becoming a premium. They are right here now as we're getting this thing wound down even with only 10 laps to go.
And the race off of pit lane, the 14 is going to come off in third even in fourth spot as he comes down and takes 4 tires. The 3 trucks that beat him off, at least it looks like the 7 of Cody Gibson, first truck off of the pit lane, so it's 2 tires for the number 7, and behind him it is 3 wide. William Amaker with 2 tires as well. It looks like the other truck in that picture is the 68 of Scott Simley and the 114 of Bobby Terrell. Those 2 trucks also with just 2 tires. So how about a curveball in this one? Chase Cabri has not driven under a green flag lap, Andy, on track behind somebody for position, and now he's going to be back in at least P5. He will be the first truck on 4 tires, but with inside of 10 laps to go, I'm not sure that's enough time to utilize that, depending on how long we go and if we see caution flags, because he will not be the control truck. And now we talked about how he's been enjoying that clean air and how we don't really know how that truck is in traffic. Well, he'll be right in the fray for this one, so we'll see what he can do with it.
You can definitely kiss the clean air goodbye, but he's got 4 tires, and this track, we talked about it all race long and in the pre-race, that the tires can be a factor here. 2 tires, obviously, for a lot of these guys, they knew they can't match the speed of Chase Cabri on the 4 tires all race long, so this is their chance to try to make something happen. And for our race leader right now, that's 7 of Cody Gibson. That's what he felt was his best opportunity, probably, to get the victory here tonight over Chase Cabri. He gets to control the start of the race too. So if he can catch these guys sleeping, he can jump out to a pretty significant lead. The problem is, though, I still think there's plenty of time for these guys with the 4 tires having to actually catch to him.
And we know it's a wide track, so if you're behind somebody that's slower, you can always go around them. Now, if that move will work or not, we will see, but there is the width on this racetrack to try something. A couple of guys going to be getting wave bys that stay out, so the lead lap going to be packed full of 24 trucks. Jason Swan, looks like as well, Sal Accardi, Joel Wood, Richard Lafferty, Jody Green, Aaron Grosskopf, George Hendricks, and championship leader Jamie Walker in 24th position. Going to get the wave by this time by as the lights get set to go off on the pace car, and that will leave us again with 24 trucks on the lead lap for the impending restart. And now we'll group them up. Cody Gibson, control truck, one objective here, and that is lead to turns 1 and 2. And if you're clear, then if a caution comes out, you're good. However, he knows that he's going to have to try to do battle with some guys. Best case scenario for Cody Gibson is that 26 topside doesn't get a good start, Andy. Scott Silly gets a decent one, and they fight for second on back. That's in a perfect world.
Yeah, that's a perfect world, and that's what the 14 doesn't want to see, is these guys battling side by side in front of them. Their trucks are going to be a little bit loose here as they get up to speed, so look for that third row. You've got a couple hungry trucks right there. Benefiel on the outside, too. This is his shot now to maybe steal a win away from Chase Cabri, who's just been flat out dominant here tonight. But Cody Gibson, he's going to give it a shot here to see if he can hold these guys off here. It looks like it's only going to be about 8 laps.
Pace car down, just 8 laps to go. You can throw the previous 102 out the window. It doesn't matter. We're checking up on the inside. Green flag flies, though, back underway from Kentucky, and it happens very good for the 7. It's Cody Gibson to turn number 1. William Amaker side by side with Scott Simley for second, down in 2.
Good battle for that second spot right there.
Caution.
Oh, caution.
Trouble with the 20. It's the number 97 into the inside wall. We're still wrecking. The 79 car collected. Joel Wood is in it. Eric Wortley is involved. And Richard Lafferty. Heavy contact Yellow flag is out. We talked about team cars getting together, and for the second time consecutively, Andy, the 20 of Salicardi pushes up the hill, takes out the 79 of Joel Wood. Again, those are team cars. They're in the same TeamSpeak channel right now. 2 times in a row, they take each other out. It'd be fun to be a fly on that wall.
Yeah, as we watch the replay, that definitely, teammates or not, there'll be a little bit of conversation in the haulers after this one right there. But, yeah, for the second time there. Guys, this might have benefited is points leader Jamie Walker with this caution coming out. He's back on the lead lap. He's got a chance to come down and get some 4 fresh tires now. And then maybe get himself a few more spots here and not end up in the 20s and maybe get himself a top 15 spot. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting restart because we'll probably get about 4 laps or 3 laps or so to go when they get the green flag again the next time. So still a couple of guys in the buffer zone for Cody Gibson.
And you talk about adding insult to injury. The number 93 of Eric Wortley out of Long Island, New York. In an accident earlier on in this race, Andy, 60-plus laps down, gets back out on track. That's probably about the amount of time that they would have had to get an engine change in that truck. Get backs out, and then he's involved in another accident. He's right back where he was.
Yeah, just not the race he wanted, obviously. Here tonight, a lot of friends and family tuning in to watch this thing here tonight, and hasn't spent much time on the track, unfortunately, but that's part of racing. Some nights are your nights, some nights aren't.
And now we reset. We look back topside to Cody Gibson in a race that has been and should be Chase Cabry's checkered flag at the end of it all. We talk about how throwing curveballs into these races, it's never the same song and dance any week in and any week out. Cody Gibson, your race leader, good start. He got what he needed. It was a fight between Scott Simley and William Amaker. Simley wins the battle. He'll go from the inside of row 2 and 3rd to the outside of the front row. He'll restart 2nd. Amaker to 3rd. Cabry picks up 1 spot topside. That gives the 14, actually, I almost think, Andy, a better starting spot than if he were to be in 3rd, because topside you can go to the outside and try to make a move. However, if you're on the bottom, there's not a whole lot you can do if you're getting pinched down from the top. So Cabry's not done, but this is going to be the final restart on the night. 5 laps to go. This time by lights still on the pace car. If you get a caution before the white flag, once we do go back green, we end under the caution flag. So Cody Gibson is going to get hauling, and the probability of seeing a caution is high, Andy, because these drivers know that if there's an accident, there will be a caution. So it's kind of ironic in that fact that they're going to be giving it 110%. Lights still on. Might set us up for 3-lap shootout. Not sure.
Yeah, 3-lap shootout. I think, like you said, Chase Cabry's going to restart on that top side. The one guy I think that might have a good opportunity if those guys can't get up to the front is Adam Benefield. He's on the bottom side. We talk about the bottom during the run not being the place to be. But on the restart, that bottom lane is pretty fast. You can hold that thing wide open on that bottom. It is a shorter way around. So at least on the initial restart, Benefield might have the ability to get around the 14. It all depends on which lane goes and which lane doesn't. That last restart though, Cody Gibson doing one of them short track moves, I like to call it, on the restart, really slowing that field right up and then just catching them by surprise and getting on it. So we'll see if he does that same thing or if he just takes off this time. It's obviously under his control on the restart. So we'll see what he decides to do this time. Maybe throws it up a little different. But he's got to hold these guys off for just a couple more laps.
Yeah, play some games with them. And it's always interesting because you know that what you just did worked. So you can do that again, Andy, and probably get away with it. But then you ask yourself, if I mix it up, can I catch them off a guard? Do you take that chance? And if you mix it up and they anticipate that and it doesn't work as good as what you've been doing all night long, do you hurt yourself? There's a lot of options that Cody Gibson can do for them. And the pace car drops down in turn 4 to the exit of the American Ethanol restart zone, which is the box indicated by 1 white stripe and then a second group of 2 white stripes, the restart box. Outside of that box is when the sim throws the green. That's over 5 seconds of you to be able to pick and choose what you want to do.
Yeah, sometimes it can be almost too much time for the leader to decide, because if he hasn't figured it out yet, you better figure it out quick. You don't want to wait too long because then you might end up having a bad restart yourself, or spin the tires, be a little slow, check that bottom lane up. But for Cabri, what he's going to need is make sure that 68 of Scott Simley. Simley needs a really good restart right here in order for the 14 to get going also. So if he spins the tires at all or slips up just a bit, misses a shift, that's going to really bunch up that top line, and then Cabri's in for it.
There are 23 spots up for grabs on the lead lap. If you don't know what you're doing, Cody Gibson, you're going to make your mind up soon. Final restart from Kentucky. The pace car going to dive down and away and get to the safety of the pit lane. 7 truck, the field is in his hands. At a turn number 4, they try to anticipate it. Green flag flies, 3 laps to go, and he blew everybody out of the water. They're checked up, second on back.
They are, and that makes it 2 rows deep, but 2 wide. Amaker is going to get the advantage on that bottom side. Look at the top side right there. Simley having a poor restart. That puts Cabri behind Benefield now. Benefield has the advantage as he come down the back straightaway. Now they're going to look to make it 3 wide. Cabri, he sticks a nose.
Oh, he turned
makes
him!
Contact with Benefield. Benefield's around, cautions out. Cody Gibson's going to win it.
Oh, and the big one in turn 4. They continue to pile in. Caution flag flies at 2 laps to go. And we knew that was coming down the back straightaway. Top side didn't work for Cabri because it was a great restart by Cody Gibson, Andy. So they were all checked up. Cabri goes to the inside of the racetrack, and I mean, Adam Benefield obviously not happy with that car down there because the 85 just making the arc into the corner. Cabri probably could have dove it down lower, but I think if you're Adam Benefield, you have to know there's a truck there. That's just 2 guys, though, realistically, going for the same piece of real estate, and neither of them jumped out of line. They basically played chicken to turn number 3. They got into each other, and, well, it's Benefield that goes around, and Cabri at the moment, who is on slate for a P4, may still be subject to an EOL penalty if the admins determine him the cause of the caution.
Yeah, exactly. That could affect it. But like you said, from the beginning of this race, he's out here for checkered flags. He was going for it, obviously, with only 3 laps to go. You got to fight and dig and claw for every single position you can. Cabri tried to do that right there. We'll see what goes on with that, is if he gets the EOL penalty or not. Currently, like you said, sitting P4. But Cody Gibson, he's looking at a white flag right now. One more time around this place under caution for him. Amaker, a good run right there. He's going to finish second. And Scott Simley, the last podium spot there, starting 9th all the way up to that 3rd spot. So a good run by all those top 3 guys.
After what started off as a wild night in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, almost looked like it was going to be the most normal race that we've seen with this United Sim Racing Truck Series. A barn burner at Charlotte, an incredible finish, and an incredible race at Talladega. This one looked like it was determined. This is Chase Cabri's race. He leads over 3/4 of the laps, and is going to come home with, at best, a P4, depending on, again, on the official review on this one. But a late race caution, 2 more cautions there late, and Cody Gibson in the toss-up finds himself in the right spot at the right time. He makes the right call on the pit lane, coming down 2 tires to lead out of the restart there. Holds him off for 2, and, well, he worked pretty hard for this one, and this is big news for Cody Gibson, the 2nd place driver in the championship standings. Jamie Walker comes home in 16th. We might not be done with 2 races to go in this title fight. For the 2nd time on the year at a turn number 4, you can put it in the bank. Checkered flag flies. Cody Gibson across the start-finish line, your winner from the Kentucky Speedway. He takes the Bluegrass 165 and makes this a brand new ball game in points, Andy, beating out his competition in Jamie Walker by 16 spots. Walker's first finish all season outside of the top 10. Last week was his worst finish all year with a P6. Tonight a P16. He still has quite the gap after this, but Cody Gibson showing everybody that he's not giving up in that number 7 machine.
Nope, and the only way you can guarantee you're going to make up spots is win the race. And Cody Gibson, him and his crew made the right call there at the end to take the 2 tires. If it stayed green, though, honestly, I don't think he had anything for the 85 or the 14. I still think the 4 tires would have prevailed. But the cautions helped out, and Cody Gibson, he's going to be celebrating.
He'll burn it down as he deserved to. Your winner tonight from the Kentucky Speedway is Cody Gibson. Round 10 of 12 of the inaugural United Sim Racing Truck Series goes to the driver of the number 7 Whataburger Toyota Tundra. He'll celebrate. He'll get back down to the Gatorade victory lane, and hopefully we'll catch up with him and some other of your top finishers here post-race. It's the wrap-up from Kentucky in a moment. Stick around for some post-race coverage on LSRTV in just a few. You're watching United Sim Racing Truck Series on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Domino's TYJ Racing League is proud to announce we are now taking driver applications for our $2,500 purse inaugural season going green January 2016. At Domino's TYJ Racing League, you get paid cash, not gift cards or die casts. Cold, hard cash. You get paid for finishing 1st through 20th in our championship and 1st through 3rd, plus a lucky dog bonus in all of our 20 races, plus other cash bonuses. You're going to like the way you look. All the way to the bank. I guarantee it. Purse amount approximate, paid cash or iRacing books. Drivers carry less than $20. Report unsafe driving to local authorities. Apply today at Domino'sTYJRacing.com to see if you qualify for our league.
And join our preseason Thunder tryout races Saturday nights at 8 p.m. through the end of 2015 to see if you have what it takes to make the cut and some cash.
Once its sights are set, nothing can stop the ferocious lion from capturing its prey. Relying on keen senses, lions search patiently before striking with alarming speed. Wait for it. Gotcha, Mr. Piece of Rubbish. He is truly the master of his environment. Do good, be a lion.
We're back live at the virtual Kentucky Speedway post-race for the Bluegrass 165. Cody Gibson comes home as your winner tonight, but the story of the evening, the number 14 of Chase Cabri, led the most laps, started from pole, and looked like it was his race, but a couple of late race caution flags aren't going to fall in his favor. It's a P4 for the driver of the 14. Caught it with him now down on the pit lane, and Chase, I will congratulate you on a P4, but I know that's not what you wanted, nor probably what you guys deserved after how good you were all night.
Yeah, it's a really unfortunate to see it go down like that. I kind of had it wrapped up there. Had about a 6-second lead over Cody, I should say, and just cautions didn't fall into my favor, and I should have taken 2 tires where I'd taken 4. And then you guys kind of see how it unfolded there at the end. Benefield coming down, and just cautions just fell the wrong way. So overall, it was a strong night, and but it just sucks to see it go down like that.
Yeah, coming up with that first of the 3 caution flags that we see at the end there. You come down to the pit lane, the call is 4 tires. You find yourself, though, not really in all that bad of a position in P5. Was it really just the fact that we had those 2 additional cautions after that didn't give you enough time to put those 4 tires to use? Do you feel like if we went green, you would have been able to make it work? Or the fact that there were 4 drivers in front of you on 2, was that what got to you?
Well, if we would have kept it green from the beginning there, I feel like we would have had a good shot considering everybody else in front of me was on 2. But I knew restarting there, 4th on that last restart, that Benefield was going to get me on the bottom right off the get-go like he did, just because the bottom is so strong on the restarts. But so I knew I was going to have to get around him, and I made a pretty aggressive move going down the back. But like I said, if it would have went green from when I restarted in 5th with about, I want to say 6 to go, I feel like I could have came out of there with the win, if not challenged pretty hard for it.
And you make your second start on the season here in tonight's race and can't put it back into victory lane. But again, that's what you guys are going for, is you show up, you try to win races. Didn't quite get the job done here tonight. There's still 2 races left on the campaign. Are you expecting to make some more starts?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're on off season. These things fall on Saturday nights, so I'll be here all off season, and then into next season, I'll be racing again on here. But I got to thank everybody who was watching my girlfriend. This was her first ever broadcast that she's ever watched. So shout out to her at home. And it was just fun. I can't wait to get back at it next week and hopefully turn around with a win.
And next week, it'll be another intermediate racetrack, however, very different from Kentucky. We'll be going in Hot Atlanta at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. What are challenges that very fast track is going to present for you guys that you didn't have to deal with tonight? What's it going to be like next week?
It's going to be a lot different. You're going to have a lot of draft, just like you did at Charlotte. So it's going to be, kind of like I did at Charlotte. My goal is to get out front and take the air off the guys behind me, put the tire wear on them as they're having to turn the car more because they don't have as much air to the nose as I do. So we're going to put in some practice, and hopefully we can be just as fast as we were tonight. And like I said, come out of there with the win.
We wish you the best of luck there in Atlanta. Thanks for sticking around and chat with us, Chase. P4 tonight. Hopefully we'll see a better result for you guys in Atlanta.
Thank you, sir.
So Cabri comes home in fourth tonight. Going to pass things up to the third place finisher now. Scott Simley's number 68. A good night, started inside of the top 10 and ninth, and he walks away in that third spot. He's on the podium, and Andy Kessler, you've caught up with him.
Yeah, that's right. I'm down here on pit road with the driver of the Snap-on Toyota, the 68, Scott Simley. Scott, you started ninth. You were able to work your way up to that third spot there. Had a pretty good chance there to battle for the lead. Walk us through that race there, that long green flag run.
Yeah, I mean, I love the green flag run, so it was great. A little tight for me, light, but not bad. I just kind of pitting early there. You could pit a few laps early like those guys did, and I stayed out. I lost some track position, but got into a little incident earlier too, and so ended up back in 18th and worked my way back up. But it was a lot of fun, a lot of hard racing out there. It's really tough to pass, but it's nice that you can pass on the outside. So it was kind of a little multi-groove out there, but it was a good night.
Yeah, that it was. Obviously, at the end there, that last, not the last caution, but the third to last caution, when everybody came down pit road, we had about 8 to go when the restart happened. You guys decided to take 2 tires along with a couple other guys around you there. Obviously, gave you some good track position at the end of it. But at the same time, how nervous were you with those guys coming up behind you, especially guys like the 14 of Chase Cabri, who's been strong all night long? He had 4 tires behind you. It was going to be tough to hang on to those positions, wasn't it?
Yeah, that for sure was. I was expecting it to go green, but I was expecting some others to take 2 also as well. But thought I'd take the track position. We only had about 22 laps on that, on the tires, and I tried it in practice, and it didn't. I mean, you lost a little bit of time, but I didn't figure it was enough to take 4. But hindsight, I probably, if I would have went back, I would have chose 4, but not with the outcome the way it was. It just I got lucky there.
Yeah, we talk about that. When you come down to the end of these races, when you have 20-something trucks on the lead lap, you're in the winding laps there. Everybody's got fresh tires. Everybody feels like Superman. They all want to get every single position. It tends to lead to a couple cautions like we had here tonight. For you guys, that kept those fast guys with the 4 tires behind you. You come home with a third-place finish. Sponsor shout-outs, who get you here?
LSRTV, you guys do a great job, man. Andy, Evan, and you got Snap-on Tools tonight, RSR Racing, ITSR, Hippie's Paint Shop. I don't got the paint. This truck isn't painted by him, but he paints a lot of my other vehicles, so got a shout out to him, and my wife for letting me get out in the evening and have some fun.
There you have it. You gotta always thank the wife. Anyway, congratulations again, Scott Simley. A good run here tonight. Come home third. 2 more races to go. We'll hope to see you again here, possibly in Victory Lane before the season's over.
All right, thank you.
There you have it, Evan. Third place finisher, the 68, Scott Simley, and I believe you're in Victory Lane with a pretty happy Cody Gibson.
Needless to say, he will take it. It was a second place, basically, up until the final 15 laps in this race, and then 3 caution flags throw a curveball, but it's the pit strategy call down for the driver of the number 7. 2 tires enough to get the job done, and Cody Gibson, your winner from the Kentucky Speedway. He wins the Bluegrass 165, and Cody, congratulations to you. Just got done speaking with Chase Cabri, who led a lot of this race and who looked like he had your number well and through to the end of that one. But these races don't always end up nice and smooth, and you took advantage of the situation, and it's your 2nd win on the year.
Yeah, man, that was fun, wasn't it?
Kept it fun. We were talking about how this looked like it was going to be a regular race going green to the end, which we said we hadn't seen yet because Charlotte was crazy and Talladega, don't still know what words to call the end of that one. And then this one got mixed up there at the end. And this is good for you because you're first. Jamie Walker is 16th. I'm sure you'll take 2 more of these.
Oh, yeah, I need them if I plan on getting first place in the points. But he just had a rough night, and I took advantage of it.
You definitely have to jump on these opportunities when they were presented. You started to P8 tonight, and again, it was on track to be a number 2 finish before you came down to the pit lane there. What was the truck like there on track? I mean, you passed 6 drivers through the course of those long green flag stretches. To be a podium car anyways, you're able to pull the strategy card at the end and win this one, but how was it out there?
Well, I did a lot of practicing on 2 tires, and I got involved in one of the big wrecks. And that's the first time I took 4, and the rest of the time I took 2. And when I took that green flag stop, took 2 tires, came out in 2nd or 3rd, I was pretty surprised no one else took 2. So I just stuck with that strategy, and I knew I had at least 2nd locked up. I wasn't thinking a caution was going to come out and me up here talking about first place, but glad it was.
And you look at the numbers, it's your 2nd win on the year, it's your 5th top 5 and 8th top 10, which helps you guys out majorly in the points because, we were talking last week at Talladega how that might have been your guys' last hope for Jamie Walker to have some sort of problems. Not a good run for him tonight in 16th position. You get the win, so that makes up some. But 55 points into tonight, that is still a lot. The gap's still going to be anywhere to just about or just short of an entire race worth of points. So the only thing that you can do, it'll be, and Andy, we're talking about this over the races, you can't really control what he does. All you can control is what you do. And to win the next 2 races would give you the best possibility of trying to walk away with the championship here and shock him really at the end of the season. So we go to another intermediate track. We'll be at the Atlanta Motor Speedway on next Saturday night. Is that a racetrack that you can do what you did here tonight at?
I want to try, which I wasn't very good at Kentucky, but pulled this one out of the hat. And I'm not fairly good at Atlanta, but we'll find out. Just going to have to do some practice and get better.
120 laps next Saturday night on LSRTV. A lot can happen start to finish from that one, and a lot happens start to finish tonight in this one. You come out on top of the pile. It's your 2nd win on the season, Cody. Sponsors and shout-outs, all of those people behind the scenes. Who do you want to thank when we got you down here in Victory Lane?
Well, I put a new paint scheme on my truck, a Whataburger, but because I ate one before the race, so I had to throw them on there. Looked pretty cool. All my teammates at Steel Horse Racing, and just like to congratulate everybody that is part of this USR league. I mean, I know it's new, but so far we had some pretty damn good racing.
And that continued true to tonight. Cody Gibson, your winner at Kentucky. Cody, thanks for sticking around and chatting with us. And again, we congratulate you on this. We wish you the best of luck with 2 races to go. You're still in this thing, and we'll see what you guys can do at Atlanta.
10-4, man. Woo, that was fun. Gah!
Whataburger powers him to get the job done. Andy Kessler, Cody Gibson, he's still alive. He's loving it. 55 points. And that number is a lot lower. He'll take it.
A little lethargic there for most of the interview. Just kind of, I don't know if he was catching his breath for that last moment there, but yeah, he's definitely excited. A good win for him. 2nd one on the season. It's always good to get wins, and that's his best opportunity to make up any type of points ground on the current championship leader. So that's what he's got to do. He's got to win out from here and let the rest of it fall where it may. But he did his part here tonight. The strategy paid off for him, and he's going to be celebrating, it sounds like, for a while. Maybe go out and get another one of them burgers.
I could go for that too, but I don't think we have any over where I am. But Cody Gibson and Aaron Bennett, P1 and P6 tonight, Andy, a big part of allowing us to be here on Saturday nights and a big part for making this league what it is. Again, this is the inaugural Truck Series Championship, and there's a lot of big names in this series. And the last 3 Saturday nights, we've seen some of the best racing we've seen from any single league in a while here on LSRTV. So these guys have really been putting on the show. Tonight was interesting because, again, we started with a lot of early cautions. It started to look a little bit painful. And then green flag almost to the end. And then, as I said with him, it looked like it was going to be a normal race, but we knew that we couldn't have that. It's a couple of late race cautions. It mixes it up. And now we got a big championship picture to talk about again, which really the only thing we've mentioned when we've talked about championships so far through our 2 and now 3 weeks is the fact that it's all been Jamie Walker. Don't have the updated points on me now, but I believe Cody Gibson would probably pick up anywhere in the range of 16 to 20 points on him, depending on laps led on the evening. So that could make this go from a 55-point gap down to around 35 points with 2 races. That is a brand new championship picture.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, he's just got to do this for 2 more weeks, and finishing 5th and Jamie finishing 11th ain't going to get it done. So it's got to be wins all the way out here for Cody Gibson, and why not, right? You're coming to a couple decent tracks with some banking to them. Obviously, Atlanta next week is another one of those tire tracks. It's real old. It's real abrasive on the tires, so the tires definitely play an effect. I think a little bit more at Atlanta than they did here tonight, but strategies like he did on those green flags, taking the 2 tires, obviously still a little slower than the leader, but it got him up to that 2nd spot, and it put him in a position that when that caution fell, he had an opportunity to jump on it and get the win, and he was able to do that. So it's all about putting yourself in the position when it matters the most, and he did it tonight, and his crew did a great job on pit road all night, and he found himself in victory lane.
And Atlanta, the unofficial home of LSRTV, we're only going to be going longer and longer on Saturday nights, and we're looking forward to that because, again, Cody Gibson wins our 165-miler tonight. Atlanta going to be a little bit longer, 120 laps at 180 miles. Michigan for the finale, capping it off with 210 miles of racing and 105 laps in the Irish Hills of Michigan. But, I mean, Atlanta, it's stupid fast. It's kind of like Texas. There's no way that these trucks should be able to grip there. You're going to be talking about guys not lifting when they're on fresh tires. It is a crazy race for a series that has given us crazy action so far. I think Atlanta might be one of the better races we'll see. And that's saying something considering what we saw last week.
No, absolutely. But Atlanta, I talk about there's a bunch of tracks on the iRacing service that the trucks just have great races at, and ones that come to mind for me is Atlanta, Charlotte. Typically those racetracks are 2 of the best when it comes to the trucks. Just the way they race or the way they're able to race on those tracks with the setups that the trucks just tend to put on a good show at those tracks. Those are 2 at the top of my head that come to mind. Obviously putting the plate tracks out of the way because of just what they are. You always got pretty close finishes at those tracks, but the racing wise and putting in the driver's hands, the worn out racetrack at Atlanta, it does that. It puts it into the racer's hands. Turn 2 sometimes can be a little tricky. It's kind of a tight turn off of turn 2 there, and a lot of guys get loose off of there. So we'll see some action next week, obviously, with the tires coming into play. And like I said, it's one of the better tracks on the circuit for the trucks in the service. So I'm expecting another good one. So we'll make it 4 in a row for these guys.
And we hope you join us next Saturday night. In between now and then, though, there's a lot on LSRTV. How about 2 weeks of back-to-back championship nights? Tomorrow night, it's the Pacific Majors 2015 finale from the Homestead of Miami Speedway. It is the Ford 400 miles at the Homestead of Miami Speedway. On Monday, it is the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series Championship 4-round as well from Homestead. The NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series back at it on Tuesday night. We have a couple of weeks off, a couple of days off actually for that matter, through Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for our Thanksgiving break, and then right back here next Saturday from Atlanta. You can get a full schedule for what you can find with more on LSRTV online at livesimracing.com. Also, give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/livesimracingtv, as well at facebook.com/LSRTV2 to stay up to date with all the information. UnitedSimRacing.com, updated championship standings, schedule information, and more. Get involved in this series. Check them out online. Maybe be on track for next week's race. But that does it. 10 races into the books, and we've got 3 of our broadcasted races now behind us and 2 to go, and it's a brand new championship picture. Until next time, we're done from Kentucky. It is the 4th career United Sim Racing win for Cody Gibson and his 2nd career Truck Series trip to victory lane. Your winner in the Bluegrass 165 on behalf of the entire LSRTV, for myself, Evan Pasoko, Andy Katzler, and Laura Lawson. We thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you in Hotlanta next Saturday night.